Archippus, similarly, received his ministry in the Lord. My question to you, dear ones gathered here, friends, you're in ministry, did you receive your ministry from the Lord? Where did you get your marching orders from? Now, I'm not saying that you must have heard a voice, but it's still a legitimate question to ask. Where did you get your marching orders from? You have to test it. It's important. You can't fulfill that which has not been given to you. You can't. It's impossible. It must be given for you to fulfill it. Because otherwise, it is your mission. And if you're fulfilling your mission and you then conceive of the idea that you have, like Paul, fought a good fight, and you're ready to be poured out as a drink offering, but all along, it was your mission. It was your ministry. Did you receive your ministry from the Lord? And I think it begs the question, what is this ministry? What is this ministry? We heard several things already about, let me press that button further. We know Acts 6 verse 4, that great assembly, the apostles saying to them that they were to be devoted, they must be devoted to prayer and the ministry of the word. So the ministry is chiefly the ministry of the word, which is enabled by prayer to him who calls men to that ministry. We never divorced the two. But there is an end. And that's what you read in 2 Corinthians 5 and verse 18. Now all these things are from God, who reconciled us to himself through Christ and gave us, not those two words. The emphasis must be made, and gave us the ministry of reconciliation. The former exists for the later. The former is the means by which the later is accomplished. It is through the ministry of the word that the ministry of reconciliation takes place. It is by the word being proclaimed. God is pleased to reconcile sinners to himself. That's why his son came. That's why the apostles preached the word. That's why they urged others after them to preach the word. Because this is the means by which sinners will be reconciled to God. Whether they are Jews or Gentiles, this is the means. And to be more specific, Paul says of the ministry which he received from the Lord Jesus, and I'm taking you back to Acts 20 verse 4, that it is to testify solemnly of the gospel of the grace of God. Let me read the full verse. But I do not consider my life of any account as dear to myself. This is Acts 20:24, speaking to elders, pastors, those whom he summoned from the church in Ephesus. I do not consider my life of any account as dear to myself, so that, the reason, I may finish my course and the ministry which I received from the Lord Jesus. Paul, what is this ministry? To testify solemnly of the gospel of the grace of God. That's the ministry. This is what Paul spent his life doing. This is what all faithful ministers throughout the ages have spent their lives doing. Because there is clarity as to what the ministry is. Because you see, amongst us, that is in the visible church in Nigeria, there certainly is some confusion. Whether it is by ignorance or it is just sheer pride.